with liberty and justice for all.
Have a roll call, please.
Moore,
Here.
Barrett,
Here.
Wilkers,
Here.
Miller, Henry,
Here.
Howard,
Here.
Tuttle.
Here. Okay. Now approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda with the addition of new business C 1350 and 1414 North Pine River Road dash Kennel.
Can I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Howard, or sorry, Brad, or Barrett.
Here, I mean, yes.
Barrett.
Yes. Sorry.
Hubbard. Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Okay. Is that who seconded?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Moore,
Yes.
Wilkers,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
and Tuttle.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Approval of the minutes for April 22nd, 2025. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
I'll move to approve the minutes from the April 22nd, 2025 Kimball Township Planning Commission meeting.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
I have a motion to accept the minutes from April 22nd, 2025, and a motion to second it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. New business. Atkins Meadows, final approval.
They contacted me today and said, can we please table for tonight's meeting? I believe Scott can give a better estimate of when the documents will be turned in.
So do you know what the June meeting date is?
Yes.
June 24th.
Move to postpone the review and approval of the Atkins Meadow site plan to the June 24, 2025 Kimball Township Planning Commission meeting.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor of accepting the motion to table the Atkins Meadows final approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Okay, the final documents are in that same motion. SSK Ground Development, 2025, final documents. Are they, Mr. Monte?
Hi, John Monte from Project Control Engineering, representing SSK. So when we left, the task was to obtain approval from Tetra Tech, their review of the site plan related items, and they've given their approval. Same with the fire department review, and you guys have a copy of that approval as well. And we have started, and we've indicated it on our site plan that there'll be a separate lot split for the mini storage, and we are probably in the middle of those documents of being ready to turn in. So, but that, we've said it even on our site plan that that's part of the requirement, that that lot will be split off. So I think we've kind of complied with the requirements at this point.
So procedurally, we had talked about this last month because you have a site plan approved and you also have a special use approved untied to that site plan. If you want this site plan approved, it's then with the understanding that we're gonna revoke the old site plan and attach it to the special use.
I agree.
Okay.
Any questions of the board at this time?
And then I guess for discussion purposes, when we try to do this in the minutes to designate, is there agreement or understanding that we'll reference the 2025 for the current site plan and 2023 for the old site plan? And
Sure.
then we'll also reference the special exception as 2023, which is referencing what we did regarding the
Yes.
special use for the self-storage and the split.
Yes.
That's what we talked about last
Yep.
Yes,
meeting.
he did.
They agreed with that.
Okay.
And you're okay with everything?
I am, thank you.
That's weird. Usually it doesn't come down to this.
It took a long time.
It did.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. And I guess another clarifying point is that because we're gonna, if this is approved, then the topic that was discussed last month about the 12-month expiring is gonna be a moot point because he's gonna get another 12 months if we approve it today.
Correct.
Okay. Is that all right with the applicant's age, agent?
Absolutely. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the gentleman a question.
Yes, sir.
When are you gonna start on this thing?
It's a struggle, believe me. The permitting process nowadays is very intense. Getting through Eagle, we're working on sanitary sewer special assessment, so we have sewer to the site. So there's a lot of hurdles to cross yet, so it'll probably be next summer before
What?
it gets,
Next
more than
summer?
likely.
I'll
It takes
make my
months.
wife drive back there to see if I can see any dirt moving.
It takes months to get through the processes, so I'm just trying to be realistic that,
Okay, I appreciate that.
yeah.
So,
Well, you will keep us updated, though,
Yes, yes.
so maybe we can help them.
We'll be working diligently on the engineering plans to get those finalized and
So I can
approved.
quit driving by there now and don't have to inspect nothing, right?
You don't have to it right now.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions of the board?
I have more of an administrative one. With the Tetra Tech letter, again, Mr. Barber didn't put a date on his letter. So, and it's referenced to Mr. Erickson, so do you have a date that you received it, so we can reference something? No, last time it was on a second page, and this one isn't a second page, or, there's only one page.
It came by email
It
to
just
me.
says
Yeah, if it's an email, the date would be the email.
Okay, but we don't know that.
Does it show the date?
No.
May 22nd.
How do you, that's the email date?
That's when oh, sorry, wrong email.
I can go.
Okay.
We did have a discussion on how these letters are drawn up with dates.
Yeah.
We did have.
May the 2nd.
So we were also received an email correspondence regarding this special assessment discussion regarding the sewer. And there was a request just to make reference of that according to the site plan too, even though it's not necessarily a requirement for this development.
It's an option for that.
Right. So, Mr. Monti, do you have any objection in regards to making such reference?
No, I don't.
Okay, because as stated, your plans, as we talked about last month, your plans have both options really identified, whether he goes to the southwest or just does from the east from the road frontage.
Correct.
Okay,
And I supplied him with the same email that you had.
okay.
Any other questions of the board?
I'll move to approve the 2025 SSK Ground Development LLC site plan revised 4/29/2025 with condition not limited to the Tetra Tech letter dated 5/2/2025 via email, Fire Department letter dated 5/15/2025, Fire Safety Consultant Incorporated letter dated 5/7/2025, the special use approval approved in 2023, and the special assessment sewer district correspondence.
Now that revokes.
Then we'll,
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Barrett,
yes.
Wilkers,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Then I'll also move to revoke the old site plan approved in 2023. It's conditional relation associated with the special use approved in 2023 in regards to SSK Ground Development.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Barrett,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Wilkers,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Good luck.
Very good, thank you very much.
That took a long time coming.
It's been a process, huh?
Mr. Monte,
It's,
I have a question that has nothing to do with this. Did you work for Roncelli?
No.
Gosh, I worked for John Monte for Roncelli.
You worked for a John Monte?
Yeah?
My grandfather was, his name was John Monte, but he
Yeah.
passed away quite a few years ago.
Yeah, this is over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Ron Sully's right across from Free Press on
Yes.
17.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
It's-
Thank you, John.
Thank you,
John.
Thank you, John.
Straight home.
Yay, old business.
Let's see.
So, are we gonna table SSKs too, right? We did that?
No, we just did that.
Oh, that,
We
yeah.
just did it. And we have C. that
We're doing
tells
this
us.
one now, our additional, or
Okay,
add-on.
yes. C, Kennel. If you could step to the podium, please give your name and address.
Hi, my name is Tricia Bentz, and I live at 1350 North Pine River Road, Kimball.
What are you looking for this board to do?
Give me permission to keep my kennel open. We had a issue this spring, and it was revoked, but I did not know at the time, the neighbors never told me that the dogs went across the street. I had no idea, and then I got a letter that said it was revoked from the animal control.
And did you call?
I called them, and she said, if you guys would allow me to have it again, they will too.
So this has happened before, though.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
happened this spring.
Well, it happened a few years back, too.
No?
Yeah, because I sat on this board then.
No, that was when I had to have permission to get the
Yeah,
kennel.
but the dogs were loose then, too, at that time.
That is correct. Animal control called me. They asked that, they told me that they revoked her kennel license. Would we do the same? I said, we'll put it on the agenda for the board who gave you the permission. So you have conditions if
Right.
you want to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, may I speak, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So, I want to thank the clerk's department that gave us the copy of the minutes back in 2020, when we did this, because it does reference these properties, and that one of the conditions for your special use at both 1350 and 1414 is that you must comply with all St. Clair County animal control rules and regulations. That's in both of the requirements. So, I think there also needs to be like clarification being, we don't issue you the license, the county does. You came to us for a special use
Right.
For kennel.
For kennel.
Yes.
So we can't issue you a license.
No, I know. but-
Okay.
Yes, I know that. But she
Okay.
said you'll have to go, and I sent a letter to Kimball, she told me.
Okay.
And you, yes, and if I would have to come here, and they would look at it again.
Okay.
You
Chair,
give
can
her
I speak?
permission, you can take it away, or you can give her conditions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you identified the issues and have you taken action and mitigated
Yes.
this from happening again?
Yeah, what happened is, we're a kennel, I have 9 dogs. We allow 3 in the house at a time. And my husband takes them out to go potty outside, and they're lazy dogs, and they stay with him. Then, at Christmas time, my daughter got sick and lost her kidney, and went on dialysis, and we were driving her to places, and then she lost her eyesight and couldn't drive, so I was kind of doing her stuff too. And my friend Marilyn here would come over, and so she let the dogs out, but she didn't realize they just walk around, and they went across the street while she was in the back, because we have 6 in the back, and we usually do 3 in the front. I rotate them, because I don't want to, I'm trying to keep it more of a family thing with the dogs. I don't like them like locked up all the time, so we rotate them. And what we did different to fix the problem is we have a back door where they can go out the back door and not in the front yard anymore.
So my thought, moving forward, do you have like a written document, almost like standard operating procedure to put in place?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Let's say another one of your friends, so we don't have this happen again.
Yes.
So there's a standard procedure, so everybody say, this is how we do it. So you're not back here a year from now. you know?
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
Mr. Lokers, would you address the, kind of address your comments through me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. I'm sorry.
You have a double fence.
Yes.
Is the whole property fenced?
The whole backyard is double fenced, but this was not the kennel dogs, it was the ones that were in my house. That,
So you have 9 kennel dogs.
yes, I have 9, 6 in the back and 3 in the house.
And did we
And I
not put a-
rotate them, we do 3, like, when they get done grooming, then we let them 3 come in, and then
There's 2
kind
sets
of,
of fences.
Yeah, there has
They
to be.
were let out.
the front door with no
Yeah.
fence.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, I have a clarity question, being, when we did this, there was 2 addresses, 1350
Yes.
and 1414. This letter is only addressing 1315. So, is there clarity in regards to, is this practice not occurring at 1414 anymore? Or are they just in compliance?
We sold 1414,
Okay.
so it's
So-
no longer a kennel.
So,
It's only 1350.
Got it.
so they have a special use for that,
Right.
that we have to
So-
rescind.
Yeah, that would be, right. Okay.
Go. Yes.
So you did have a dog out years past, or someone assumed it was your dog, and I thought. I
They
read
pulled
that-
in the driveway at 1414, and Huck was out there, the animal control.
Okay.
so he
there
was-
was a dog out.
There was a dog
Okay.
out there, but that was before I was licensed, and
Can we ask, is Huck the dog?
I'm thinking
Huck,
so.
what?
You
No,
said-
Huck is at a new home, he's retired.
But that's a dog?
Yes, Huck's a dog, yes,
thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
I just want to make sure it's not a person.
Husband.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Punk.
I guess what I'm looking for is some way to stop this from happening again.
Yes, it's not gonna happen again.
Because I can't see you keep coming back here to ask for our permission when it keeps happening. We don't need that. So,
I got another question.
yes, sir.
I don't know anything about dogs. What size of a dog dogs do you have?
They're Newfoundlands, they're big dogs,
Okay.
gentle
They're-
giants.
So they could be very scary.
Yeah, they can look scary, yes, but they're not.
Michelle, have we heard from any of the neighbors?
Just, no,
No.
not that
Okay.
So how do we know about this? Did the neighbor call?
Yeah, the neighbor called,
they called him.
at like 4
Okay.
times. It was like twice in March and twice in April.
Yeah.
And the dog was out those 4 times, or they
Yeah,
just kept on
and
calling?
they just were, like, when you're out in the back, she was like letting them just be on the property, and he went across the street.
I got a
And so,
question.
and, I'm almost done. And the animal control contacted you those 4 times?
They only contact, well, what happened right, before I got those 4 times, my granddaughters walked down the street. The dog followed them. We're getting ready to get him a new home. This was, what's his name? Grizzly.
Okay.
Bad name. Sounds scary. But they went walking down the street, and he followed them. He went up a lady's driveway, and they came home and was screaming and saying, the dog went up the driveway. And I did get a call from them that day, but I knew what happened that day. And then the other 4, I never got a call. It was that happened after. And then I just opened up the letter that said that they revoked it.
Okay.
I have a lot of grandkids, and I live next door to my grandkids, and I gave them George, one of my breeding dogs, and he's been very depressed because he's back with the other dogs, because he lived in their house and was getting me in trouble. So George is in the kennel. He can't be with the family now because they just go in and out, the boys, and they let the dog out when they go out. And so he's back in the kennel. I'm hoping someday to get fence around the front so they can have a normal life.
And Mr. Chair, for the record, George is also a dog.
Yes, George is
Okay.
a dog.
I just want to make sure we have Huck, George, and Grizzly. Okay.
Pleasure
Grizzly's
aboard.
placed in a new home, and so is Huck.
I think Mr. Loker might.
Another question, Mr. Hooker?
I've got a question,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. How much do these dogs weigh? I'm not.
A female can weigh like
educated on that.
125, and a male can weigh 140 to 50, but some people can get them up to 200, but that's not appropriate.
Mr. Chair, ask how tall they are. I think they're pretty tall. Aren't they,
Marilyn,
like-
why don't you get a picture of them?
Yeah.
Normally,
Show them George.
that Newfie brand breed is pretty gentle, isn't it?
They're very gentle, yes.
Kids
They're
ride
called
'em.
gentle giants.
Yeah.
And they're lazy dogs, they lay around, but,
They're big.
They just look scary.
yeah, they can be scary, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And Marilyn's from Alaska, and she moved here. We met on the beach photographing George.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he's just sitting.
Yeah.
Imagine him standing.
Gotcha.
He's a wonderful
I can
She
see
took
why
over from-
somebody would respect him a little.
Yes, he can be,
Wow.
he can be,
Big
but
dog.
he's super sweet.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
So there is a double fence in the rear to
Uh-huh.
protect the escapees.
And that's a requirement of the,
Yes.
Yes.
the
That was their
animal
requirement.
control, correct?
Right. So the new helper did know about the front yard. So.
And she was only helping like a few times. She just didn't realize, because I was running Cecilia she was on dialysis, and she needs a new kidney. And it was just a bad time in my life.
Mr. Chair, I think this is an opportunity to clean up the one address and then also address some issues that are occurring at the current address. But because it's a special use, the ordinance says that we need to do a public hearing and, go through that process in regards to that. And so I think if it's a decision of us to formally say, hey, to review, place additional conditions and possibly revoke, then that would be our cost, not the applicant's cost. But there will be an additional 30 days that you'd have to wait for a decision from us because of the newspaper requirement of posting and then also mailing to the neighbors. And I think in fairness, whether that neighbor chooses to come to this public hearing or not, there is a neighbor who has contacted the animal control. And so as a result, they should also have the ability to come and share that with us too. That's just the due process of it all. So I don't think it's proper for us to, make a decision without having a public hearing because the special use
But
that
if
was
they-
granted, had the public hearing. And so anything changing associated with it
But-
and/or a violation, it says, needs to have a public hearing too.
It does say that.
And it's not gonna be a cost to the homeowner, because we would enact it.
Yes, you can.
So the dog, you have a kennel, but you also have live-in-home dogs. Are they part of?
Yeah, they're part of it.
breeding?
They're all like, like when we go to grooming, I'll let that dog stay in the house after it's been groomed. And then, you know what I mean? I just rotate them.
Oh, I got
We
you.
rotate, they all come in.
So whoever's in the house.
Whoever's the cleanest
often
gets to
is
stay
the
in.
kennel.
And we groom, I mean, we take very good care of our dogs. I have a big grooming bill. We do it like every 6 to 8 weeks. And
So
we
we
take good
need-
care of them, but if the neighbors say no, then it's no.
That's not what my statement was.
Okay.
It's in regards to, my statement through the chair is that we held the public hearing and
Yes.
gave notice to those property owners before we made an approval regarding that. And then the ordinance does state if we're going to make any changes, we have to do a public hearing also and take any feedback and give notice to those property owners. That's the special use process.
And that's what we have to do now. We have to set it up so that we have enough time to get it in the paper.
That's fair.
And we've also,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, we've also heard the statement you're at 1315.
Yes.
1414, I think we need to include that. If they're not doing this there, then I think there is a legitimate conversation to have and/or action to remove it if it's not occurring there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
didn't they say when I had it, I can't like sell it as a kennel, so the lady who bought it knows it's not a kennel, but
That's
whatever.
not how special
It goes with the property.
property.
On the record, it still shows that
Yeah.
that's what
Oh,
we're, yeah. so-
okay, yeah, you
Yeah.
can do what you have to do on that one.
So, I don't know, I'll move to request to schedule a public hearing per Article 4, 20.402, number 6, regarding special use exception for properties 1350 Pine River Road and 1414 Pine River Road regarding kennel use, egg property zoned special use. Which I'll just read for the record. It says, "The Planning Commission shall have the right to limit the duration of a special exception use where the same is of a temporary nature and may reserve the right of annual review of compliance with the conditions and limitations imposed upon such use. Any use failing to comply with such conditions and limitations may be terminated by action of said commission after holding a hearing upon application of the aggrieved party." So,
And all your neighbors will get a copy of this and they'll be able to show up if they want, so. What date, are we okay with that for the next meeting?
June 24, 2025. And I apologize if it wasn't in the motion.
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone, or I won't be, I'll have to send somebody else.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
yes,
could
sir.
I-
Yes,
could I
Mr.
ask
Al.
another question? How high are your fences?
5.5 feet.
Can them dogs get over that?
No.
You're too lazy.
Really? Would you, if it became necessary, would you have an issue with making it higher?
If I would,
Do they
some of
ever-
them are 6 feet.
Do they ever get out with the gate closed?
No, they don't get out.
So
It was just
they're-
the ones that were in the house that were let loose to go potty. It was
Okay.
them.
And her thing is, I think she wants to fence the whole
I
property to
have,
stop this.
yeah, and we did the backyard now, so now they can go out the back door and be fenced in, and that is a 6-foot fence out the back
So you're gonna
door.
have a better jail.
Yeah, don't say that.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, that could be a possibility of an additional limitation put on a special use after review also.
Yes,
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
and we'll wait till,
And moved.
and, yes, I need a roll call.
No, it's too long.
I need a roll
Yeah,
call,
it's too
Mr.
long.
Barrett. Do I have a second?
I have a second. I'll second.
I need a roll call for Mr. Barrett's motion.
Okay, Barrett,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes,
Locers,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Motion carries.
and we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Old business. Master plan review. We,
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
any questions?
You have 2 letters, emails sorry they came on my personal email, but you got golf country
Mhm.
and you got, the drain commission.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I guess maybe that should just be the first action, but like, we'll put that on the record. Maybe that would be appropriate, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Because, oh,
Thank you, ladies.
thank you. I'll move to receive the Ravenswood rezoning confirmation from Robert Wiley.
It was future land use.
Yeah, but, okay, wait a minute, I just want. Yeah, it kinda cuts off. Just for clarity, is 5/23 the print date, or is that the date you received the mail?
5/23 is when I got it.
Okay, so,
Michelle?
I know
Oh,
the
I'm
deputy
sorry,
clerk's a
I'm
little
sorry.
busy.
All right, we'll wait.
That's all right, no?
522.
Where do you see that? Oh,
He had to redo it.
Let me write it down. Both of them are 522.
oh. Oh, yeah, Bob's in here twice. Oh,
Oh,
that's,
I only have one of each. I think.
yeah, Bob's email's in here twice.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
So,
Two different separate ones.
I got it, yeah.
Okay, sorry, guys.
Nope, I'll move to receive and file the correspondence regarding the request for a future land use rezoning on the Ravenswood property owned by the Drain Commissioner per his email on 5/22/2025, and then also receive the email dated 5/22/2025 from Mr. James Jowett regarding the future land use rezoning for such property on Smith Creek Road.
Not rezoning, right?
No, it's future land use.
And future.
It just threw me off, his title said rezoning.
I was like, okay, I got that.
And I just got a message from the future owner of Golf Country asking me if this has got approved today.
What got
That was my
approved?
motion, Mr.
I missed
Chair.
it.
Oh, they're selling?
9 to 8.
That was a motion that Mr. Barrett made. We need a second?
I'll second it.
Have a roll call, please.
Barrett,
Yes.
Locers,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
motion carries.
Then,
Okay. And also, I got that, this is from the, Mr. Donaldson from the county. And this is what he was thinking we could have as a resolution if or we could reword it, or, I don't see anything wrong with the way it is.
Mr. Chair, the only question I would ask is what is the date that the Township Board received and reviewed and the proposed master plan?
Goes to them next.
So, is there a date? Because that's blank on here. So are we doing a June?
Next week. It'll be June the 10th. June the 3rd. They do the 1st and 3rd, right? Their meetings,
Yeah?
so it'd be June 3rd.
And then for the record, the Township Board did approve a resolution to confirm its right to have final approval or rejection of the proposed updated master plan. Okay.
There's a separate, resolution.
Okay.
for them.
Oh, can you tell me the resolution number?
It's, I wanna say it's 2025-28. It's either 27 or 28, but I think it's 20.
Then I'll move to approve the Township of Kimball Local Planning Commission Resolution 2025-01. Planning Commission Resolution to approve master plan and recommended adoption to Township Board as amended amendeds being the date being June 3rd, 2025, that the township board will receive the proposed master plan, and then we'll add the date of the resolution that the board approved asserting its right to approve or reject being 2025-28.
Now, the effective date you want,
It'd be effective this is our.
Immediately.
Yeah, this would be our resolution.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, would you like that changed to today's date?
today's date if I could.
Okay, with the additional amendment that immediate effect would be changed to May 27th,
27th,
2025.
correct. And I need a second to that.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Have a roll call, please.
Barrett,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Lopers,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
motion carries.
Hey, now we can start on a new one now.
Just a review, just,
Well, why not? Took us this long before.
yeah.
Sparlingville Baptist. Do we? Nobody here.
Nope, I put it in there. Told you.
Yeah, there's a letter.
There's a letter in here.
Mhm,
Yes.
and something else.
Are we,
There's a letter in there.
yeah,
What, yeah. What are they and I see that there's also a resolution. We haven't done this before.
Not a resolution.
No.
No.
For the water main stuff, we don't do this. This is project basin of design for water main projects, page 1 of 2, and then page 2 is a resolution.
this is their responsibility, correct?
I'm trying to find where you're at.
Partially completed application.
I don't even have construction drawings, do I?
Yeah.
Must have given you and not me.
I don't have any.
Is this gonna modify their site plan?
Yeah, this is water main project for
Mhm.
Sparlingville Baptist Church. That is, that's a FYI saying that, they're putting a hydrant in
Mm-hmm.
80 feet into their property with a meets and bounds description.
So,
It's FYI.
yeah, so Neil, this has been more than 12 months. Do they have an active construction permit pulled?
They do not, but they do have permits pulled with Eagle.
Yeah?
And they have permits pulled for the storm sewer out back, so.
Oh, with like the drain commissioner?
With us.
Oh, storm sewer?
They put a storm drain in the back of the property, and put in a pond for the parking lot.
Oh,
So that it is still active.
okay.
So are they gonna punch under the road to get
They're
their
gonna bore
bore under the road?
over $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, now that you say that, I don't remember, or I don't recall that the retention or retainage, or detention or retainage part was a part of the site plan. I remember it coming before us, there was discussion about the parking lot. I remember there was discussion about the building and the location, and then in regards to the hydrant part of it. So,
You want me to grab the site plan?
well, I guess that's just my question being,
Yeah,
did it get
if you would, please.
did it need to be modified, and if so, should we have reviewed it? Or is there a letter associated with that from either Mr. Monty or PCE? With that part of it?
That would be BCE.
Okay.
Before them.
Okay.
Yeah, that pond wasn't on it.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to have some
I was gonna say,
big
I don't remember
infrastructure.
that pond.
No, there's no pond on there.
Because
To
I
get
was
that
here
one.
for that one.
Yeah.
There was no pond.
some
Or retention.
bigger
Because they were
noise.
fighting about how the building had to be sprinklered, and they didn't want to do that.
Oh, I wasn't here for that part. Yeah, I was.
It was multiple meetings.
Yeah, there were several.
And the architect, or I believe it was, he wasn't really fond of anybody here, or the fire chief.
Well,
Because they said there's no classrooms, and right on their drawing,
it said
had
classrooms, I remember that.
classrooms.
I do remember that.
Mr. Chair, in the meantime, can we just do reports?
yeah. Well, did, we get many, I don't remember what we discussed, because, for the zoning. Neil knows, he was the secretary. What did we discuss at zoning?
We were just,
They put a pond right here.
right.
I just threw out the minutes.
Oh my God.
Did you have them?
Yeah. There's no pond on the site
No
plan.
pond.
Yeah.
I
So
think
they gotta
there
come
was
back with
only
a note.
one item
Yeah.
on the agenda.
So I don't mean
I don't even thought it was the site plan.
And typically those are included in the engineering letter.
Yeah. I can't remember what was discussed, because,
It was a very short meeting, and there was only
It
one.
was Mark Alexander at 1165 Allen Road for a temporary dwelling.
oh yes, that's correct, yes.
Okay.
Did he have a
Does he-
fire?
He's, putting up wants to build a new home.
In an R2 district,
Yeah.
but he had a house already
Yeah.
there and with utilities. And he's building a new house, he's gonna take these utilities and move them over
Oh.
here.
And they said it was
So
okay.
that's why we got $1,000 bond.
Yeah. Okay.
So it doesn't show on that site plan,
We're gonna have to have a site plan then. That shows the pond.
not a problem. 2.5 years we were trying to get, and I feel bad for that church. But, it sat on somebody's desk here for months before it went to, and so put that in the minutes.
We are on camera. So, I guess in regards
I'll
to,
own up to it.
no, in regards to, Mr. Chair, then Sparlingville Baptist, what's the address?
The address is 5230 Griswold.
5230 Griswold.
Modification.
Move to place the Sparlingville Baptist site plan, 5230 Griswold Road, on the June 24, 2025 Planning Commission agenda with site plan modification, i.e., is it a detention or retention?
Detention.
Detention pond in the, with township engineering
Yeah.
review letter. I know, but that's,
Because you gotta have a certain size, correct?
Oh, it's,
I know, but that's usually on those letters, Neil. I know.
thousands. I'm gonna ask that, we don't get that letter, but that's up to you.
Well,
It was.
That's up to the majority.
Jason and I were both there, watching every minute of it. We didn't charge him,
Okay.
so, but anyway,
I have a question. What changed where that they didn't need the detention pond and now they feel as though they
there
do?
was a gentleman who was doing site work there saying, your parking lot's ponding. He says, let's put a pond back there and get rid of the water. Okay, he put in a catch basin, parking lot is now draining and it's going to a pond.
Yeah.
Jason and I were both there when they were doing it, and also when they extended the sewer. They put in they've been waiting 2.5 years, so they at least got the sewer in, they at least got the pond.
Mhm.
With the parking lot's not holding water. I
But
see your
what
point.
was, how was the parking lot gonna
It was
drain? How was it gonna drain?
Just gravity, it's gravel,
Gravel.
so it just finally just soaked into the ground.
Okay, so then they put a catch basin in and they're now is running to the detention pond.
Yep.
Put a bond in.
Right.
But then that's what they were gonna do when they're gonna do the asphalt, weren't they?
No.
We gave them a break on the
We gave them a
asphalt.
break so they didn't have to put in the asphalt.
Well, they were gonna have to put asphalt, and so we said
The
they didn't have
The
to.
front parking lot
Yeah.
is asphalt.
Right.
Right.
The rear where the,
We gave them an extra year on the rear
Yes, we did.
rear parking lot, asphalt.
we did.
But then what I'm saying is, when they had the asphalt, they're still gonna have to get rid of the water. They plan on running the water off the surface to the back or
That water
something?
ran towards Griswold. It's got an apex where you come right up to the top of the asphalt and then it turns to gravel. So the first whole part of the parking lot drained right out of Griswold.
Now, they are gonna make the asphalt extension, right? When they get their building up? That was the agreement.
We're gonna have a pre-construction meeting before they even get a permit. That was the agreement, I remember.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the fire truck to turn around at a radius of 15 degrees.
That's amazing. They used to run hoses on them fire trucks.
So what's the pleasure of the board? Do we?
Well,
do we
I
make
made the
them-
motion.
Well, you already made the motion.
I don't know if it's gonna be supported, but.
We have a motion.
I need to hear the motion.
The motion is to bring back the site plan for Baptist, Sparlingville Baptist Church at
5230.
5230 regarding site plan modifications, AKA detention pond with a township engineer review
On the next agenda.
on the June 24, 2025 agenda.
And I just like to say, I'm not here to correct you.
No?
I just wanted to give you.
Yep. I understand, I don't know.
Need a support.
I'm gonna make it, if it's supported, I'll make a comment.
Well, I wanna support it just so we can discuss it.
This is just gonna be, oh, thank you. You can vote any way you want. These are my comments. The review, it is for liability issues regarding the township. That being, it needs to be reviewed, it needs to be signed off, because you don't know when it's gonna fail, if it's gonna fail, when it's gonna fail, and did we do our due diligence? If it does fail and it goes across the neighbor's property, or if it doesn't work, we are not engineers, and I appreciate what Neil and Jason did at DPW, but they are not engineers.
I understand
So,
what you're saying.
it's the cost of doing business. And I think we've been also lenient with this. We've tried to work with this in their situation in regards to, and I'll just leave it at that.
No,
You know, what I wanna say is, you know, what would we do for any other organization?
Any other
And, you
business?
know, I'm a very strong Christ-believing Christian, that I live at my church, but, I would hate for it to get out that, we are, you know, cutting corners for the church, and where's, you know, a young guy is trying to start a business, and he'd have to pay, if you're gonna put a lot in for his construction company,
So,
whatever,
yeah.
he would have to pay these things.
Mr. Tuttle, my two examples would be, we made Dollar General do it, and they had the review on their letters, and even the township board, when they put in the fire hall. Because it was tied to even the drain commissioner, they're lucky that it's not tied to the drain commissioner, because it would have been a moot point. When the
Like we
township
have.
came to us with their fire department, that was reviewed and also permitted by the drain commissioner for that.
Right.
Is that a detention pond or retention pond behind the fire hall?
yeah.
So,
I see your point.
Any other comments?
you can say on the record, I can say, it sucks.
Roll call.
Okay,
I'll say it.
Barrett,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Locers,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
and Howard.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Anything from the township board, Mr. Lopers?
We have moved in the direction that we're going to start looking at bringing in a Brownsfield authority into the township
Hmm.
What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
with the project that's happening over on Griswold and Wadums. Telltale wants to utilize Brownsfield to help
Oh.
with the cost of the underground utilities.
I don't know what Brownsfield is.
A brownfield, I know, a
Development.
brownfield, it's because they can, because housing now is an eligible,
Yep.
project. Okay.
Fishbeck came in on last Tuesday and they explained
Okay.
in detail everything. And then, so I'm working on it with Rob, with the growth of rental properties, like with SSK and the duplexes that will be going in potentially on Wadums and Griswold. I wanna have an ordinance that really puts fine details to protect the residents from potential landlords that don't follow through with their obligations. So,
I thought he was.
He was selling those.
These
Yeah,
are,
those
these
were-
are single-family
Yeah,
homes.
they're
aren't
They're
they?
supposed to be single.
though the duplexes won't be rentals?
No.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that also applies to this.
Yes.
I'd like to have an ordinance that protects the residents from, let's say we get a shoddy building contractor, he does some shoddy work. We don't want it to happen, what happened in St. Clair, where all these residents have their apartment complex burned down and they're out of luck. You know?
I'm still in the dark about what is Brownsfield.
Well, the state of Michigan is now, it used to be Brownfield was for soil contamination
Mhm.
Yes.
projects.
Oh.
tire-
Asbestos.
Asbestos.
Lead.
Now they're going into development because it's so much money for the underground utilities
Mhm.
that the state is trying to help
The housing
the
crisis.
housing crisis that is needed.
Okay, so this is
There's
more
a
like
payback
Yeah,
Okay.
he can capture taxes, property taxes.
Okay.
over 20 years. You can set the years.
The way they explained it to us, and this makes sense, like, let's say you're a mason and you're trying to get into stamped concrete, it's just like throwing that extra tool in your tool belt. You're making your township more viable and more attractive to, let's say, you wanna do something with your company, Todd, and it opens your company up to funding, whereas you wouldn't
So it's
have.
funding.
Yeah, it's
It's
taxes.
low interest funding.
No,
No.
it's tax, it's what they call tax increment financing, it's a tax capture. So he pays, puts up this money, some of that cost is eligible for reimbursement. So over the next 20 years of him paying his taxes, he gets a percentage of that back to pay himself
And
for
we
costs
can-
incurred up front.
And we can set the time period too.
Right.
I know, did Rob post that video yet on the YouTube channel? So you can see the township meeting.
So I guess in regards to going down that route, if that's what they're wanting, I believe that site plan's been more than 12 months. So as a result, my experience has been the brownfield plan has been approved before site plan has been approved. Because the brownfield lists specific things. And because 12 months has now occurred, are we stating that he's coming back? Or should we be stating that the site plan that he has is now null and void because 12 months has passed with no activity? And then he's gonna come back to us with a site plan that's tied to a brownfield?
I'd have to see if he's gotten approval from the county road and the drain commissioner, when those dates were approved.
Uh-huh.
Once I find out those dates, then we would tie that 12 months to those dates.
Okay.
Correct?
Well, that's my question, because we have, it says 12 months unless there has been permits issued, a building permit issued, and/or construction. There's not been anything over there,
No,
so,
He's aware of that.
okay,
We just gotta find out the dates for the road and the county drain
right,
and soil erosion.
yeah.
So
'Cause-
if they didn't pull that soil erosion for another 8 months from after they got
right,
8 months from that date. Or they got a year from that date.
And who knows how long it'll take before
Well,
we're able to set up a ground.
No, it's the date that we approved is.
But then we said, if it took 5 months to get a soil erosion permit, that date would start then at 12 months. We can look at it.
Yeah, I think if that's the, if that's the route he's going,
I understand.
I think there's gonna be a need, or I'm gonna make the point,
Yeah,
it's gonna have to come back,
okay.
just to make sure that it matches the plan that whatever you're approving.
No, I understand.
Because I think you got the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
In regards to that. I understand, I know what I understand what he's
Having
doing.
access to that money might, he
So,
might change the whole plan, I mean.
And the other question is if he wants to capture school tax millages, he has to go to the state and get that approved. And go through MISTA for a review associated with that. So there's additional hurdles if he's wanting to get school tax capture, too.
What's the name of that project? Sorry.
I don't know.
Timber
Timber Meadows?
Yeah,
Meadows.
Okay.
And wasn't France gonna build them?
Frazier.
Frazier?
Yeah, Fraser.
Frazier.
Sorry. Can I ask Mr. Loper a
Yes.
question? Are we the Brownfield Board, or are you gonna
So that-
appoint 8 more people?
That's the hurdle we're at, like,
Yeah.
to your defense, what you said. How many months before Fishback gets us the information so we can make that decision of how we're gonna set up the authority? And like you
Mhm.
said, we have to elect members, I mean, yeah.
Can he go to the county? The county has a
Now, we
Brownfield too.
can, but like Fishback said, we go to the county, now the county authorizes what is gonna be done. If we adopt our own authority, we're in control.
Okay.
Yeah, if you wanna watch the video, it clears up a lot of questions.
I'm versed.
Even-
I have to
well-
deal with 8 of them at work.
Even the city has brownfield too. The city has brownfield. My nephew sits on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I guess, Mr. Chair, I guess, is there a need to, like, bring back this site plan to next month for point of discussion and update?
Why don't we just, point of discussion, and I will give you the dates for all the permits that.
Okay, we'll do that, because then I had another question about Kimball Church. Are we gonna see them in June? That was, because they weren't here today.
So,
What was the letter sent? It was under review, the letter.
okay, so I presented letter.
Okay.
Clerk, Rubel said not to send it, that they don't need to come in.
Why?
This,
I respectfully disagreed with her,
Uh-huh.
and that's what was said.
Okay, they,
they still need a special exception.
Yes.
If they come in or not, they still need.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So it wasn't like Rubel said, they don't need it.
No.
Again,
Correct.
they
you
don't
need to send the letter for the public hearing.
They don't need to be here. I did state that the planning commission did specifically ask, and it was a very nice letter. If anybody'd like to see it afterwards, I still have it.
Oh, can I ask a clarity question? I guess I'm confused. When you say letter, isn't it just the standard notice for holding a public hearing?
It's just, it was inviting them to come,
Oh,
to be part of the public hearing. I do have the,
Application.
yeah, I have
Gotcha.
everything else done. It's gonna be posted in the paper and,
Okay.
you know, letters will be sent to
Okay.
the neighbors.
And it's free
What
of
was her-
charge to-
Yeah.
to-
Oh, I
What
heard
was the
that.
reasoning to say that they didn't have to come?
okay.
Because
Okay.
I didn't
Are we
wanna-
gonna see them on June 20? Are you publishing a newspaper article?
The newspaper that article will be published,
Yes.
but they don't know about it, and that was my concern.
Oh.
They have no idea that we are doing this on their behalf, and so
The letter will be sent.
Yeah, they'll get a public hearing notice.
they'll get a public
Okay,
hearing notice.
okay.
Okay.
We just-
I understand.
We have an extra step involved.
So,
Anything else, Mr. Walker?
That's it.
thank you, Mr. Loker.
Yes.
I wanted to say for the record, I appreciate Mr. Loker being here and participating and sharing input.
Yeah, so do I. I haven't had this much information in 3 years,
Thanks, Mr. Howard, I am a good boy.
so,
I turned 40 last Monday, so
Do you want,
thanks.
do you want a motion?
yeah.
Okay, what am I putting, what's,
Motion.
I know, but, oh, Timber, what was it, Timber Oaks?
Timber Meadows.
Timber Meadows, there's a lot of meadows here in the township. I'll move to request the site plan approved for Timber Meadows located at Griswold and Wadhams to be placed on the June 24th, 2025 agenda. And then,
No.
in addition to requesting, do you, if the public hearings are scheduled, do you want that on the motion, Deputy Clerk?
Another piece of paper.
This,
Yeah, it will be on the next, on June 20, the special hearing.
Then I'm not gonna,
What?
that, you're already gonna put on the agenda.
Okay, yeah.
Got it. So that's, my motion is to place the Timber Meadows site plan at Griswold and Wadhams on the next regular meeting of the Planning Commission.
can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
This house is
Carries.
for sale.
What is this?
This is the one over that wants the fence? Or the house?
But this is about across the street from that house.
This is
isn't it?
Lapeer Road.
Wait, what is this?
Oh, no,
This is,
different one.
just let, when I get to audience participation.
We were,
Oh.
we were already there.
No,
Mhm.
you skipped it.
Oh.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. This piece of property's on a pier.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the roundabout. It's zone C2, okay? Right now, the house is 960 square feet. The building is 960 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay? In a residential area, the house can't be bigger than
Accessory.
accessory.
Yeah.
In a C2 district, can it be?
You asked him the question, can it
I'm
be
asking
bigger?
that question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have to go to zoning board of appeals?
That's what I
We
was
had
gonna say.
that with MC Shine, when they wanted to add on to their building, cover their two trailers that are sitting next to right next to the gas station. MC Shine has a building there, a log cabin, pole barn, it's on, right behind the Ashley.
Yeah, right next door.
Oh, and range?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No, you said.
Allen and Lapeer.
But-
How long's this building been here?
How long is this one?
Yeah.
This has been here forever.
Oh, they're not there anymore.
So what is
Well,
changed that now we're reviewing it?
No, right,
They
they're not
want to add
there.
on to the
I know.
barn.
Oh,
When
okay.
he says Allen.
Add on to the
here,
barn?
it's right
They
there by
want
the
to add
gas
on to the
station.
barn.
Got
Just
it.
wanna make a
The
bigger
lady's been
garage.
in the house for 24 years, and she's got stuff, and she wants to add on to the barn.
She wants more, put
So
more.
does that have to go to the project control with a C2 site plan, or does it go to zoning board of appeals under R1?
Well, the
Or
property's.
actually, it's, in an R1 district, they can't go bigger. It
Mhm.
doesn't
No,
say
again.
that in the C2 district.
But she's zone C2 with
It's
a,
zone C2.
with a residential use.
Correct.
So he'd have to go to zoning, wouldn't he?
Well, I would need assistance, because I have an old book. Where's the chart? Do you know what page, the, oh, I
135.
saw it. Thank you, Neil. That references that, Neil's got an old book.
Oh, here.
Oh, the old book's 135?
Yep.
What are you looking?
So it's Article.
Setbacks.
Yeah, Article 6, 20.600. So the thing here, public,
It's-
and do they have public water and sewer there?
Correct.
Minimum lot area per dwelling unit acres.
They can add on to the house towards the west because there's a well, but they don't, it's not in use, but it's still good. And there's electricity on the east side of the property of the house, so they can add on to that. So they want to add on to the back of the barn. 16 feet. 16 by 24. And if it's not for commercial use, if it's an accessory, there's C2, but they need a site plan
Right.
for residential use.
Well, everything I see is either R1 or R2. For accessory building.
So, but her zoning is C,
C2.
she would fall under C2. She's just got a residential use in C2.
Correct.
She already looked in the book.
I looked at the book.
It's not there?
It's not there.
Right, because the book says, oh, no, residential R4, nope. The book says detached accessory buildings and structures are only for R1, R2, and R3 districts, so that's a moot point.
Okay, so they could add on to the back.
But I guess the question is, in C2, do we allow the use of a residential?
With the class A designation, it's only for the house.
Yeah, it's not for the barn.
She has one of those already,
No,
so then she's going to ZBA,
for a class A.
Yeah.
If she wants.
if she wants to do any changes. Right? Because she's making the nonconformity bigger.
I agree.
Yep.
I just want to verify C2, permitted use. Well, or it says a permitted use in C2 is accessory buildings and uses customarily incidental to any of the foregoing uses when located on the same lot or parcel of land. But it's not, residential is not one of them.
Is residential a special exception in
That's what, C1. Residential is not in C1 or C2.
So all those houses in there
If they
are,
don't have a class A designation and something happens to them,
They're gone.
Yeah, but haven't you had this issue on Lapeer Road in the past?
No.
well,
Not
the,
on-
the old Colossus house that burnt down, or whoever, the Cavses owned it and they must have sold it. And the old Backacre Saddlery home burnt down and they put up a modular home.
Oh, you mean,
yes.
yeah.
So that's all in that C1 area too.
That, not that side of the road.
No.
No,
Yeah, I grew up there.
I know you did.
So it's only on the north side is residential, south side is commercial? This is south side, but I'm just saying.
Let me grab it.
Backacre
So I know what you're
Saddlery, yeah.
talking about. Are you-
Mr. Claus.
Yeah.
I know him, he's related.
He what?
We're related.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was good to me when I was a kid.
he was a good guy.
'Cause on the north side in this area, like, where I'm thinking where he's at, like the
Well,
Mays
that's,
were over.
see, but when I grew up, that was commercial up front, residential in back. But you guys must have changed it.
Yeah.
He's saying it's R1 closest. is
Yeah,
R1.
well, I can see now.
I guess, yeah, another clarity
But when I,
question.
when I was
Oh,
young,
think
you
I'll
guys
ever see
changed
this
it, cause it used to be,
You don't think so?
the front used to be commercial.
I was gonna say,
all
this
down
is not a
through there,
s-
right?
No, it's all
Is it-
I
don't know.
Yeah.
There and
Doesn't
there's,
seem like
Allen Road is here, it's
I'm not- I don't know
this
how
little
long
one right
I'll
there.
live.
Yeah.
How
So
old are
like
you
these
now?
houses, if
It's
anything.
C1.
Oh, you're still young.
Even this little bit across the road. Down.
But I thought this was, okay, you're saying that's Allen on the map.
Allen is right here, here's a
Right.
roundabout, it's that little square right here,
All right, but the house in question is on Lapeer.
right here.
See, and you're looking down here where.
Yeah, I grew
He's
up on.
talking-
I grew up
Oh,
on
I'm sorry. I was thinking of the other
Yeah,
one.
you
I was
grew up
thinking
there?
of Abbotsford or Abbotsford.
Really?
Okay, sorry. I'm thinking of the other.
So if they get a
Oh,
Class
that's
A
nice.
designation, they should be able to
You
extend.
see Mike?
All the time,
Really?
all the time.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, this sounds like a ZBA issue.
No.
It really does.
Where's there a hardship? If we don't, I mean,
That's not planning commission determination, that's a ZBA determination.
I think it's kind
I'm
of.
just saying,
But for clarity, this isn't a split parcel where like the first 200 is commercial and
No.
the back, okay.
No.
so they get a site plan and bring it to the township board and have it go through the engineer to get 16 feet on the back of the building? Or they go to get a Class A designation?
It'd be easier to get the Class A designation, wouldn't it?
It would be, it just,
No, I understand where you're coming from.
I'm just thinking, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's C2, they have a residential
C-
use.
C1.
Or C1.
C1.
They're having a residential use.
But it
which is
doesn't
not-
include the barn, though. It
Well,
includes the house.
you know, it's the designation.
It's by parcel, is it not?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if the house burnt down, they could only build it the size of what it was. Right, with the Class A designation?
Yes.
So if the barn burnt down, then, yeah, I guess because you're not gonna give them the Class A on the barn and not the house.
You guys don't say residential and accessory structure on your Class A?
Yeah, you can.
I have to reread it.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
let
they'll be
them
at the
come to
zone-
the zoning.
They'll be at the zoning board of appeals.
There you go.
Okay? It's
I'd rather
my-
see 'em
It's
there.
my piece of property.
Yeah.
Oh, you own it?
Oh.
And the same firefighter's been in there for 24 years.
Oh.
Because I guess then the other
Karen
question is,
Smallstick.
I understand what you're saying in regards to like the site plan aspect, because it's somewhat of a minor site plan, I understand it's triggered under commercial, but it's going back to the residential.
Right.
Like they can draw, we've done, am I stepping out of line?
I just
No.
want to be able to sleep at night.
So
I
I'm just
wanna
saying,
go
like for
right
instance, I'm just saying in regards to instance, on the home occupations, they're supposed to have a site plan, but we've accepted drawings on grid paper.
That is correct.
And that, like the applicant that was here earlier, we've seen what she does.
Right.
So, right, if, I don't feel any problems if, it doesn't sound major, you're extending, you're gonna have to show your setbacks, you're gonna need to make it, you're not really gonna have any area-wide restrictions per se, because you're in C2, C1, I'm sorry, you know.
All I'm
You
gonna do
have
is
two stuff in
add on to the back of the building, and it's all,
The setback.
it's got a survey done already.
Mhm.
I'm just confused about,
I don't care about the Class A designation. If the house burns down, I don't care to ever rebuild.
It's not gonna be worth the bill.
I'll
So,
have to
Yeah,
look at it.
I think-
Planning, do I go to zoning?
Zoning.
I-
Zoning.
I think just like what was in our training, we went to training, what's the attorney always get, a statement of facts, is that what they were
Yeah,
keeping?
and one guy says, you never approve a special exception. Never.
No, a variance.
A variance,
It
yeah,
was a
variance.
variance,
Yeah,
a
variance.
variance. Bill, don't say
Never.
special exception, it was variance, it
Yeah.
was variance.
The guy, he's been there for 20-some years, never
It
approved
was
a variance.
variance.
So I'll come back to planning then?
No, because it,
I
well,
would rather see that.
that's not a, you're not asking for a variance, you're asking for a designation.
Yeah.
I'm just asking for a permit.
So, CBA. I'm just saying, like, in my head, the statements of facts are C1, residential use, but, so it falls under C1, residential use is not allowed as a permitted or special exception use, so it's non-conforming. You're wanting to make the non-conformity larger. We have the A and B.
And
Not
we're
pushing
going
you to
against
ZBA.
everything our lawyer told us.
Well,
Get rid of the non-conforming.
that's true.
All right, thank you.
I'll see you there.
Good.
Are you gonna take notes again?
No, it says. So,
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
look at you.
It's clear as mud.
We'll treat you as an applicant as we treat any other applicant, Neil.
I know. That's why I didn't mention my name until it was done.
You shouldn't even have been in here.
Nope.
That was a conflict of interest.
No,
Yeah.
I like to sleep at night.
So,
I don't want any skeletons.
Move to adjourn at 7:46.
All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Mr. Tuttle.
So you want a second? I second, no.
You said you're in favor. They're gonna take
I just
that.
wonder what he
We're
wants.
adjourned.
I already wrote your name down.
Okay.
You're
Did
an
you play
ink.
ball with Mike? growing up?
Mike was older than me. He was, I
Close the
did.
meeting.
This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I did, but it was just in the neighborhood. Like,
You
Michelle,
and Al and.
yeah,
Do you want
I see,
my,
I-
See,
do
my
you want
wife
my
grew up over-
motion or not?
Her brother's Donna Morris.
Who?
Donna Morris. They grew up around the corner from there, and they were good friends with Al and his brother and sister.
Is your copy around?
a Morris?